Today I'm going to do a review of Tomorrowland. Should be interesting. Hi, my name is Matt Hale and welcome to Hale Reviews, where I give you my opinion on movies and stuff. Brad Bird, Damon Lindelof, the perfect combination of what should be an amazing movie. Tomorrowland is recognizable because it's tied in with the Disney parks. For a lot of us, when we saw Tomorrowland was coming out, we assumed there was this massive tie-in to it and it was gonna kind of create this place for Disney to really just launch Tomorrowland into something that is already really cool, but that like stupid cool. To my delight, it didn't do that. I mean, the movie was originally supposed to be called 1952. It was inspired by Tomorrowland. Brad Bird and Damon Lindelof were influenced by Walt Disney's philosophy for a better tomorrow, a new tomorrow, Tomorrowland. In a cool way, it doesn't tie in. It's its own thing. So just enjoy it. I will own up to this. I had high expectations. I expected a lot. Brad Bird and Damon Lindelof, why not? The first act of the movie was so cool, how it led into Frank Walker's character and where he started, and then where Casey starts, and just the aesthetic of what you see around you, the story that leads up to it, had a lot of energy too. There's some amazing action scenes in this, and a lot of it practical too. Specific notice to the scene we've all seen in the third trailer with Frank Walker and Casey in Frank's house, and all these dudes are coming in and about to tear the place up. When the walls come down, you actually see that in a previous scene earlier in the movie. One of my favorite parts about this movie is actually what I'm hearing. The score by Michael Giacchino. Why wouldn't you love it? Certain actions and certain motives, you are moved by this music that is just not just an underbed, it's actually a character, the whole thing, so props Giacchino. And also, not only did Michael Giacchino make an incredible score, he makes a cameo in it. Look out for it. I freaked out. I thought it was really cool. Oh, sound design in this movie was supreme. So good. When you felt these like big guns just shoot and you just feel it, but you feel it on this side of the room because that's where it is in the movie, but over here you hear something different. Sound design was good. Pretty much everything I heard in this movie, I had no problems with. Things start to take a turn though. You're awakened by a moment where they're trying to reach back to Tomorrowland because something is happening. That moment when they finally get to that launch point where they're actually going to Tomorrowland completely lost me. When you actually see Tomorrowland, which is interesting because it's way different from the beginning to this moment here, which I do like that. The contrast of seeing Tomorrowland at the beginning of the movie and this moment in that movie, there's contrast and it's really interesting. Boy, the pacing just slows down at the end and it seemed like a really solid story didn't close out the way that it could have. It had a lot of humor, it had a lot of excitement, had a lot of energy, a lot of action, a lot of practical stuff. You can see the direction happening in this movie. Quality direction happening from Brad Bird, where certain things, small details are given so much attention. You see that there was a strong hand in how this thing was put together. What I think lacked when you really hit the end though, you just lose the energy. When you get to the end, you meet the villain essentially. It's not that you didn't meet him before, but you actually see what is going on. So David Nick's character, we see him at the beginning of the movie where he turns down Frank Walker from his jetpack invention that he has. We see him at the end of the movie, he's exactly what you thought he was gonna be, so it's not a shock. There's a monologue that happens where he basically is explaining what is going on, why it's going on, why it should happen. For a villain, he was so tame and so controlled. How he was from the beginning is the same at the end. I would have loved to have seen this clean-cut dude, you know, very sophisticated head honcho of things, and then you just see the Jekyll and Hyde like scenario happen where you just see this completely evil dude just completely lose his mind over this thing. I wanted him to go crazy. He was given this long monologue. I wanted him to let loose. I wanted him to go nuts. I'm not asking for the Joker here, but I'm asking for a little bit of chaos. The guy was insane, but he didn't look insane. He looked normal. He looked the same as he had the whole movie. He did an amazing job. It's just, it didn't land for me. There's just some things about this movie that the pacing of it was, I struggled with the whole time. I don't think you always need to cut to show the reaction of George Clooney. At the very end in this monologue, you keep cutting back to George Clooney. Like you have to see his face to see what's going on. What would have made that for me if he didn't change anything about his performance at all. And I did. I wanted him to go crazy. If he didn't change anything about it at all, do it in one take. If you let that scene happen, you don't have to cut in order to make that moment feel right. Let one cut just go like this. I guess that's the Spielberg effect, I suppose. Let the take just go forever. I was watching this Talks at Google with Brad Bird and Damon Lindelof where they were talking about the movie Tomorrowland and kind of their process and what took place when they were making it. It was a really good talk. I'll leave the video down in the description below. It was interesting because they talked about the struggle between finding balance between telling a story with no explanation or too much explanation, which actually gave me a lot of perspective as to what was going on with this movie. But it was interesting for me to see that they actually struggled through that, and it took the movie to a halt to say, do we explain too much or do we explain too little? And that is a really hard question. But with that said, it was still an amazing story. It was a great movie. It fit for the summer perfectly. There's not much to not like about it. There's just a lot that I had strong opinions about, just some things that I noticed that I loved and some things that I didn't love. And that's okay. Thanks so much for watching this. If you liked this review, if you liked what I just brought to you, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of Tomorrowland. What movies are you most looking forward to this summer? Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next review.